Hey everybody, God bless you. Just sitting here at a traffic light, just thinking about something. And I'm like, hey, I think I need to make a video about this. There's a lot of people out there that believe that the Bible teaches that we have a sinful nature. This is going to be a really short video, so I'm not going to get into original sin or anything like that. But I just want to point out, in the NIV, it's not the only translation that will take sarks. That's the Greek word sarks. Sarko, sarks would be the subject. If it's the subject of the sentence, it'd be sarks. If it's possessive, it'd be sarkos and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, that word means flesh. It's the word that's used in 1 John where it says Jesus came in the sarks, he came in the flesh. So flesh, according to the ancient Gnostic, heresy, was like, it was like it had sin in it. It's kind of related to original sin idea. But anyway, but it had sin in the flesh. It's like, no, because it says right here in the scripture, Jesus had that. And another place it talks about the sarks of the fish. So it's like whatever the flesh of the animal has, in this case we're talking about human beings, it's flesh. It's your flesh, right? So a translation that say sinful nature really leads people down the path off the road into the ditch to misunderstand what it means. When it's talking about flesh, it's really important to see it's actually flesh. It's connected to the idea, and even the word sarks is used with regard to circumcision. It's connected to why God, in a foreshadowing of Christ, actually instituted circumcision. It's connected to why Galatians starts out in chapter 2, chapter 1, it's like, you foolish Galatians, you got these Judaizers coming here trying to get you to go back to Mosaic law. And in chapter 2, he starts talking about circumcision. He starts talking about Cephas, coming in and shrinking back from the Gentiles, that were uncircumcised, and the whole thing about circumcision. And then that aspect of flesh and discussing flesh leads into the real meaning of it with regard to walking with the flesh or walking with the Spirit kind of thing. And so that's in Galatians chapter 5. And then of course it's got the acts of the flesh. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, adultery, hatred, discord, gossip, slander, all these sorts of things. And so impurity, debauchery, all these kinds of things. So that's really important to see when we're talking about the flesh. That's what it is. So if you're using a translation with NIV or some translation that uses sinful nature, no, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean a sinful nature. It doesn't imply that God infused, sin in people, because people would never admit that. But when you hear how they describe the sinful nature, we're born sinners and stuff, whatever, it's like, well, who's the one that created us? Who's the only one? Satan doesn't have influence on actually affecting, the DNA or anything that has to do with our genetic makeup or being born or whatever. The only one that has that power is God. So you're actually implying that God made us sinful and stuff. So I'm just going to leave that there. I hope that helps you. God bless you.